A major landslide has struck a tunnel road project site at Kalladi near Meppadi in Wayanad district, raising fears that several people may be trapped under the debris. The landslide occurred near the Meenakshi Bridge, where construction is underway on the Anakkompoyil Meppadi tunnel road project linking Wayanad and Malappuram districts. Now, fire and rescue services, local police and National Disaster Response Force teams have rushed to the site. 3 people were rescued by the local residents before emergency teams arrived, while search and rescue operations are continuing. Authorities say that several workers associated with the tunnel project were staying in the area, which also has a few houses and homestays. Some vehicles used to transport workers were damaged in the landslide. State Minister T. Siddique as well as District Collector are monitoring the rescue efforts as officials work to determine whether more people could be trapped in the debris. Now, for more on this, I'm joined in by my colleague Sneha Koshi, who's been following this. Sneha, Wayanad is known to be a very fragile to a large extent when it comes to its soil structure, but heavy projects still go on in these areas. This particular landslide, especially during the rains being reported from a project site, and now the question is they are frantically trying to figure out whether how many people could be under the debris, because when it happened in such a sudden manner that it covered through the workers' quarters. Some of them are in fact working at the tunnel project. Still, they are unable to come to terms as to how many people are missing. So clearly, it is going to take quite some time to understand what exactly happened at that location.
That's right, Varghese. This is a very unfortunate incident. In fact, in 2024, it was around the same area where you had the severe landslide as well. This is again between the border of Wayanad as well as Malappuram. This is a ecologically sensitive zone. You do have mining as well as other construction activities that do take place in this region, as you mentioned. This is, in fact, the Meppadi tunnel project near the Meenakshi Bridge, or in fact, it's also the other place very closely associated with this is the Churmala. And again, something which is very popular, which is well known. Unfortunately, it's also become infamous for the repeated instances of landslides that seem to happen on this area. That also has to do with a whole lot of construction and building activities that have been happening in that region, which is causing the loosening of the soil, which caused, there's at least one person who's feared dead at this point. Fire and rescue services have been pressed into action from nearby regions. In fact, there's one fire and rescue team that is now the NDRF team, which has now been stationed quite close to Wayanad as well, because this is now becoming a very sensitive area, particularly for landslides during the monsoon season. So the NDRF team has also been pressed into action. Rescue operations are underway. A very tragic incident, really, this is happening. There are many who are feared to be stranded in this particular tunnel. So there are concerns that there may be more fatalities in this. Chief Minister of Kerala has responded to this particular tragedy, and he has said, let me just read out what he has said. He said that preliminary information says that there are 7 persons who are admitted to the hospital. There are 7 who are missing. So they may be part of those who are either washed away, buried, or trapped in this tunnel project where the landslide has really happened as well. Disaster Management Authority and District Collector have issued an order to remove the soil from the construction site of the tunnel. There's the situation is being monitored very closely, but Varghese, as we know, this is on the repeat, and I think a whole lot of reassessment has to be done in terms of how to ensure that there can be safe habitation in places like Wayanad.
Despite all this nature of the sensitivity associated with the soil, with the environment there, heavy projects still continue, tunneling projects still continue in this very sensitive zone. So it only adds to the problematic nature of the geography there.
Yes, Varghese, I think that's true. But we'll have to get into, the project sanction of this particular tunnel project. We'll have to look into the papers about the ecological readiness of this project. Where was the green signal given from? There's also this whole debate around development versus nature. about how the two can really be taken together, because people living in Wayanad, it's a struggle to even get to a hospital if they're in particular A. The terrain is such. So it's a very sensitive issue, Verghese, and in the past also it has been pointed out about how there's rampant construction in Wayanad, even with resorts and hotels and other activities that are taking place, particularly uphill in the in the loose red sand region, is of a big concern. With the soil pattern, the texture, the way this region is completely being hampered for that matter, disrupted for that matter.
News9 for in fact joining us with all those details.